I mean, I think that again, so over in the last 10 games, we've been 5-5 and we've been 10th in defense in that time. And the big improvement areas have been points in the paint, protecting the rim better, and the defensive rebounding, which has really been pretty much a strength all year, though. And the thing that we've done in the last 10 games, we haven't turned the ball over as much. I mean, offense and defense correlate together, obviously, so much in basketball. One of our biggest problems this year is it's our turnovers. Even the other night, they had 18 fast break points. 10 of them were off live ball turnovers. And so, I mean, as we go forward here, if we want to take a step, is we have to continue to build on our half-court defense. We got to stop turning the ball over, but we have to be better in transition defense. It's always been a big strength of our teams, and right now it's still not.
Dante Marcatelli, Fox Sports Florida.
Hey, Cliff, you mentioned the last 10 games. The last 5 games where you've won 4 of them. What have you seen defensively? Does it coincide with getting guys back? You're top 3 in almost every major defensive category. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think it's been building up that way, to be honest. I think that if you had to look at a turning point, it was we've played better since we had the 2 days off and a chance to practice before we played the back-to-back with Chicago, where the first night we played a good game. The next night, I mean, we got Evan, warmed up, we find out he's not going to be able to play. I don't know what it was, 12 minutes before the game started, and they were great. Okay. But that started the shorthanded thing, but it also, from that point on, our defense has been much better through the trip, and even shorthanded, much more locked into helping, much more solid with our individual defense. And again, the turnovers, if you want to look at, there's things offensively, obviously, that we're not that good at. We can't turn the ball over. You can't be a team like ours with the, how can I say, offensive potential that we have in some areas. Can't turn the ball over. You just can't. And if we can get our turnovers back down and play with purpose and pace, then we're going to have a chance to take a step. And if we don't, it's going to be hard.
Mark Medina, USA Today.
Hey, Steve, good to see you. Got a random one here for you. In lieu of the AllStar reserves, what's been your criteria over the years with voting for that, and what's been your reasoning?
I did the same thing. I sat down with Joel here, and he had all the numbers, rankings, statistical things. We do it by position, and you do the best that you can. It's not easy, and I think particularly this year where I'm like everybody else. I mean, we're playing every other day, and it does 2 things. One, for me anyway, you're not as locked into the rest of the NBA. I'm just not. You're game to game. You're scrambling to get ready for the next game. So there's some guys you just haven't seen as much. The teams that you've played, you have a better idea of how those guys are playing, how they're finishing up here, and then the other guys you don't. But I don't. That's just. Again, it's the pandemic. It's a different year. It is what it is.
Obviously, this year is unique, but in other years, have there been any examples on your end where you were kind of going back and forth and torn on certain candidates? And if so, do you remember what was kind of keeping you up?
No, I think every year it is hard. And if you look at this year in the East, there are a number of guys who are worthy of making it. So it's difficult every year. I think some years there's less guys that are worthy. This year in the East, when you sit down and look at the numbers, there are a lot of guys who are, I would say, who have played at an all-star level.
Chris Cuff, 24 Flicks.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking my question. What about the overall physical and mental fatigue going through this season? Are the guys getting stronger as they go?
I think we're like, I talked to Dwayne the other night before the game, and I think all the teams are pretty worn out right now. This is much, much more difficult than the bubble. It's a totally different animal. It's to me, it's the travel. You know, one in the bubble, we played 8 games, even though I think we played them in like 15 days. Everybody played one set of back-to-backs. We played every other day. And also you played at 7 o'clock or whatever you played, you were back in the hotel by 9:30, you know, and I think even for coaching staffs, for executives, for everybody, people are worn out. This has been, I'll say this, other than the lockout year, there's nothing else I've ever experienced even close to this. So I don't think guys are stronger now. Everybody badly needs a break. And I think the league, organizing the season the way it did, playing 36 or 37, taking a break was a good idea.
Any final questions? Okay, thanks everyone.